Welcome to the Epic Man Podcast, the show where we let our curiosities and theories run wild and sometimes talk entertainment news in there as well. I'm Josiah, and with me, my two friends and co-hosts, Ben and Mike. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing so good. So glad to be here.
Absolutely the best. The best of days.
Ready to just talk about it.
I'm doing good.
Well, that's good to hear, Ben.
That's
That's
not
good
why,
to
Ben.
hear.
It's good. It's good to hear. What is this? A support group?
So
No,
I'm
opposite.
always here for you, Ben. Always.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
not.
Always.
I'm not.
That just makes you a support animal.
Oh. Well,
Oh.
I'm
Yep.
I'm
You
kind
like
of an
that?
animal
You
sometimes.
support Ben, and he calls you an animal.
Yeah. Well, I'm withdrawing my support. Thank you.
Oh, support pet.
Nope. Too late now. So we have a lot of very spicy stuff to talk about today, including some news that is coming out recently about some scientists who are proposing a permanent human habitat built on Ceres, which is like a dwarf planet or something. But I am not going to be the one that brings you this exciting news. It's going to be Ben. So Ben, take it away.
Okay.
Ben, talk about it.
First off,
Get to it, Ben. Yep.
I'm built
This is hype.
on, built around,
Oh,
in orbit.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Mind me.
Exactly. Boom. Scientists propose permanent human habitat built orbiting Ceres. Group of wow,
Yes.
thank you.
Ceres.
Ceres. Yes.
So before we started this episode, I'm just going to say this right now. Ben
Yeah,
thought that it was pronounced Sears and
Ceres.
Sares. And I was like, what? What is this guy talking about?
Turns
So
out I was wrong.
Yeah. And
I was
Ben was really wrong. He thought it was like Sares, and I was like, dude, no, it's Ceres. And he's like, no, it's not. And then he looked it up and he was like, oh.
Actually, it is. It was
I was right. I just wanted to make that
You are
clear.
right. I was wrong, and that's okay. I'm all right with that.
Well, that happens a lot.
So basically, a group of Finnish researchers are proposing a permanent human habitat in the orbit of Ceres, a massive asteroid and dwarf planet in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. According to the team, this mega satellite settlement could be built by collecting materials from Ceres itself. If that sounds familiar, fans of popular sci-fi book and TV series, The Expanse. That's because in the fictional universe, Ceres Station plays a pivotal role as one of humanity's first off-world colonies. So I guess that's something that people have actually drawn inspiration for anyway before. So that was interesting.
Wow.
In a paper uploaded to the pre-write repository, ARXIV this week, the team argues that Ceres could be a prime real estate because it has nitrogen, which could enable the creation of an Earth-like atmosphere. In fact, they argue the environment could be better than Earth since there's no adverse weather or natural disasters and plenty of living space to grow into. They propose a number of smaller spinning satellites attached to each other via magnetic tethers to create a massive disc-shaped megasatellite. Artificial gravity approximately equal to that of Earth could be achieved by spinning the massive structure around Ceres. Such a habitat would make a full rotation around the dwarf planet in just 66 seconds to maintain the artificial gravity. Connecting each habitat would be maglev train-like vehicles, a weightless experience to passengers. When first encountered, weightlessness causes nausea and vomiting for some people, the paper reads. However, in a settlement where people experience occasional weightlessness from childhood, it's plausible to think that they could tolerate it well during short trips. So they kind of just go on to say
fast.
Yeah,
It was like
fast reader.
listening to the Flash read something because he's trying to save somebody's life and didn't have time to stick around.
So they go on to talk about how the settlement could be act as a stepping stone to reach other reaches of the solar system. Motivation is to have a settlement with artificial gravity that allows growth beyond Earth's living area while also providing easy intra-settlement travel for the inhabitants and reasonably low population density of 500 per kilometer squared. The abstract reads. That's about the population density of New Jersey. So thanks to its low gravity and fast rotation, the researchers argue that a space elevator is feasible, allowing easy transportation of materials from Ceres to other settlements without the need for much fuel. So what about the space radiation and the threat of meteorite impacts? The team has considered those threats as well. They propose a set of massive cylindrical mirrors and could do double duty by collecting sunlight and passing it on to the habitat while also blocking sub-meter scale meteorites. So it's basically just like a group of scientists have an idea for a thing to be like a separate habitat so we can explore life in space, I guess.
Nice.
Finnish scientists.
Finnish scientists.
Yeah, well, we got to remember they're the Finns. Like, no,
Yeah.
Well,
they're
weren't we
not-
talking about? So last week we talked about aliens having connections to Sweden, right?
Mhm.
Was it Sweden?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the Finnish scientists have something to do with it too. Maybe that's where they're going here. I don't know.
So
Maybe.
let's not speculate here, Ben. Obviously,
I mean,
this is something we talk about real science here.
that's
not
right, real science.
speculation.
We don't ever
Random
speculate.
speculation
Never
about
happens.
things that could
Never
potentially
happens.
never happen. Never.
happens. Dude,
No, it's
speculation.
concrete facts.
I don't know what speculation is.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
No,
No.
Ben. And they also apparently don't care about stock markets either. So
So yeah, I don't know. What
yeah,
do you guys think?
I
You
mean,
guys-
yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like this kind of reminds me of like the meme of like the guy who's like walking with his girlfriend. He's looking over at the other girl and stuff, and like, but his girlfriend's like Mars, and now he's like looking
Yeah.
over at like Ceres and stuff, Like that's what
Yeah.
that's the imagery that I'm getting in my mind with this. It's like,
So-
oh, forget Mars. Let's move even further out into outer space and go to Ceres.
we got
and it's
stuff
like-
way cooler than Mars to go to.
And I will say that the thing that kind of alarmed me right off the bat was the fact that this is like in the asteroid belt, and that's kind of like, whoa, dude, like, what if you get like smashed by an asteroid or something?
Well, and that's what they talked about at the end too. Was like they would build, I guess, like multi-purpose mirrors to bring in sunlight while also blocking asteroids or meteoroids or whatever. Which
They're gonna
could-
build a mirror to block an asteroid.
yeah. I mean, in theory, it probably could work, but also I'm not sciencey. I don't know any of that stuff, so I don't know. I'll leave that up to the scientists. Remember.
So like I think it's interesting, but like I have this thought sometimes, like
Yeah.
we don't have, like, we have a space station and it works and we do cool stuff on that space station,
Yeah.
but like science, like the people in that space station can't stay in it very long.
Yeah.
And there's like all this stuff, but then we have all this like speculation about going other places. I'm like, we don't even like know enough about space and know enough about the inner workings of it to be like, yeah, we could do this. Like Mars is close enough that there's a lot of speculation and there's planning and there's thoughts about it, and we've actually had a rover on it, and then these dudes just walk in and say, hey, we should go to this other thing. And not, it feels similar to like a hipster being like, oh, I don't listen to that. I'd rather go to this other place and do this other thing when this other thing is like obviously a little too mainstream. Everybody talks about Mars. Nobody's talking about Ceres. And I'm like, yeah, nobody is talking about it.
Yeah, I've literally never even thought about Ceres being like a
No.
viable thing until this. But yeah, I like that. That's a good point. Like, if we haven't even like properly like gotten to Mars and stuff yet, like, what's special about Ceres? I guess is like my question. Like,
It feels very here's my idea for space versus we have all these other things that we're still trying to figure out here on Earth.
mhm.
And we have all the like I'm not saying we shouldn't look to the stars and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
That's not it at all, but there's a lot of stuff here on Earth that we're trying to figure out still. And then you have these dudes are like, let's go to this other place that's
just-
not Mars.
Just start slinging people to outer space. They'll figure
just-
it out. They'll
just-
figure.
Just boot them out there and like, what about all the asteroids? They're like mirrors. Well,
Mirrors. That's all we need.
I'm like, well, how do they repair those if they get damaged from a lot of asteroids because they're in the asteroid belt? Like, shut up. We'll figure
Sunlight.
that out. Yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Well, it is the Finns, so they're kind of like, ooh,
Yeah.
everybody's talking about Mars. Let's be even cooler. Let's talk about Ceres.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
idea
it's the Finns.
is
It's what the Finns do. That's what they do.
the idea, I guess, is interesting, but it shows almost this. Sometimes like it almost exposes like the weird disconnect sometimes within even the scientific community of like if I feel like if all these different scientists and all these different heads could like work together and plan some actual like real excursion to Mars, I feel like maybe we wouldn't, like, we probably would be there already. Like, we saw what happened with the moon landing when everybody was like, we got to get to the moon. And then they started, countries started working together to try to get there. And the United States, cucked Russia hard and was like, hey, come over here and help us get there first, and we saw that and we landed on the moon. It was like really cool. But then, I don't know, the Mars thing almost feels like it's like a race to Mars, but it's only to like prove that they got to Mars first, instead of it being the world's really in danger and we can't fix it. Then like we should all be talking about getting to Mars now and not wait until the disaster happens and then we're just trying to get to Mars like later because we effed up everything.
Yeah. Well, Daddy Musk will take us to Mars.
Well, that's the thing. But he shouldn't be doing this by himself.
He can do this by himself, but he shouldn't have to.
He shouldn't have to. He
probably could do it by himself.
There's no probably about it, Ben. He's got this.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
it's Daddy Musk. I shouldn't underestimate.
Yeah, don't ever do that again,
Ben. don't underestimate Musk. Don't disrespect the Musk.
Don't ever disrespect the Musk.
So Ben, the question is, what do you think about all of this? What do you think about Ceres?
I just think it was interesting. I think it's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yesterday you were like making this into like the greatest thing of all time and hyping this up, and now you're just like it's
now
interesting.
Wow.
Let's be honest. I shared the article. That's what Josiah says is hyping this up.
I mean, we literally talked about it yesterday, but
I don't think it's, I think it's interesting. I more think it's just interesting that, I'm not going to keep talking if that's what Mike's doing right now.
I was scratching my hand.
I'm distracted. It's interesting, but I think that, like you guys were saying, that there's so many different things we're trying to figure out for like the survival of humanity. I feel like the Mars thing, people should just get behind and go all in on it with Elon Musk instead of figuring out other things. This is an interesting idea, but besides this, I don't know of any other like plans like any sort of plan to do this, like actual plan. Whereas like for Mars, there is an actual plan to do, to like transform the planet and stuff like that to make it livable. Yeah, terraform. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just like, since there's not been a whole lot of talk about this, but there has been a lot of stuff around Mars, I feel like the Mars thing is a far more viable option, and it's in a similar area. So I think you could do you could achieve a lot of the same things they want to achieve with this space station with terraforming Mars and making it livable.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a bunch of other planets out there too and stuff that could be livable that aren't in the asteroid belt too.
Mars might just be a stepping stone.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of the whole point of Mars, is that it's kind of like, if we can achieve this, then maybe we can achieve that. But
right. If we can achieve this, we know we have the ability to achieve more.
Yeah, but we haven't even achieved this yet. So
until we get to that point, then, and also like the asteroid belt would be kind of concerning. Like, from what I know of asteroid belts, it doesn't sound like it'd be a very safe place. So, trusting the future of humankind and civilization doesn't necessarily come across as a great idea.
We got super advanced space mirrors that apparently don't break when you hit them with rocks. I mean, according to the Fens, they're just like, they seem like to almost dismiss it as like, oh yeah, we can probably address that when we get there. I'm like, no, that's not how you're supposed to do that. Like you're supposed to, like put billions of dollars into the sky and then it get destroyed like a matter of hours by a bunch of asteroids, and they're like,
just gets shredded.
Yeah, they're like, we probably didn't think this through.
Everybody just dies.
It's all over.
More mirrors.
You know what? Next time we'll bring 3 mirrors instead of the 2. They're like space mirrors. That's the
space mirrors. Yeah, but I guess the one thing that kind of makes this a distinction between this and what people are like trying to do with Mars is that they're trying to make this into like a space station kind of that's like orbiting Mars or Ceres instead of like trying to actually like live right on Ceres.
Yeah, instead of doing the
So-
colonization. Yeah.
But if that's the case, then why don't we just like build something that like orbits like, I don't know, something else?
You know, just
Like,
I think
don't
you're
know.
making a little too much sense, and I think we need to silence you for your opinion.
But it's the Finns, you know. We can let them do their thing over in Finland, just, you know,
Mhm.
doing their thing. They're
We
just
keep doing our thing here.
yeah, we'll just keep doing our thing. The Finns can do their thing, and yeah, that's where we're at. So
Freaking fans.
freaking Finns. So the Kepler planets are the ones that really interest me, you know, like
Those are in different, not different. Are those in different solar systems?
Sure.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
They are right because they obviously
Yeah.
they don't orbit the sun, so
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are. Yeah,
yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously those ones are like really far away, but
right.
those ones are just interesting to me because we don't really know a whole lot about them, but they're like very potentially like livable places and stuff.
Right.
And if
I
that's
mean,
the case, then could there
even-
be something living there already? Like,
Right. I mean,
Oh,
to get to
snap.
somewhere like
No.
that, though, we would need to, obviously figure out something like
Are we boring you,
light
Ben?
speed travel. So,
this was your idea, Ben. We're just
oh, I'm just tired.
We're
Oh my
just
gosh.
listening to the
Ben-
expert talk about this.
Ben. You were the one that got us up at an ungodly hour, and
Well, I want to.
I don't want to hear any complaining about you being
Whatever
tired.
Ben tells you, whatever time Ben says it is right now, he's lying. It's way earlier than it should be.
Yeah, it's absolutely not 9:40 a.m. right now. It's like
no, that's ridiculous.
4 a.m.
Yeah, definitely 4 a.m.
Ass AM. Yep. This is a little bit of a segue, but
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of interesting because it deals with space, but not real space, but also kind of space.
Okay.
So remember the whole joke, the hashtags, what was it, as Guardians of the Galaxy that we talked
Mhm.
about with Thor appearing in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Disney pulled a reverse on us because
Oh.
James Gunn admitted that he has been consulting with Taika Waititi as to how the Guardians are going to be used in Thor 4.
Yep.
Apparently they're way more involved in this move in Thor 4 than like a lot of people expected they were going to be. So it almost I feel like you wouldn't do consulting if it was just like a little cameo. So I'm almost wondering, I mean, they're probably not going to be major role in it, but I do wonder if they're going to have a role in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And I
think
almost
they
wonder if
will.
maybe they're going to use this time to, I almost wonder if they're going to use this to restructure the team because what I keep hearing is that the team won't be the same after Guardians 3.
Right.
So
Sounds about
I thought
right.
that was kind of interesting. All the stuff Marvel's been doing, I think they're really trying to do as much as they can to like switch up the structure of things and really try to bring about like more interest in the whole product. So I
Yeah,
could see them
right.
actually having the Guardians way more involved than they did.
And the Guardians are popular and people like them. And they're obviously still characters remaining from the original like Infinity Saga. So that's a good way to get people on board with just that. So and I mean, and Thor is also a well-loved character.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and well, the new direction they have with Thor is interesting enough, and that it fits the Guardian narrative of like, a little bit more comedic, a little bit more silly, a little bit more down to earth. So, yeah,
exactly.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
just- Go ahead,
sorry.
man. No, go ahead. Man.
I'm interested to see where Thor 4 goes. We had Josiah and actually just talking about this briefly yesterday.
Thor 4.
Just what?
Thor 4.
Thor 4? Thor 11 Thunder?
Thor. No, I like
Or
Thor. I like four Thor.
Thor 4.
Thor 4.
I'm interested to see where it goes. And I did read that the other day that the Guardians of the Galaxy were potentially going to be in there, or some of them.
Well, aren't you
Potentially be
fancy
there.
getting all the news before I get it?
Wow.
That's
Aren't
cool,
they aren't they making like a holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy too?
Yeah,
They
I think it's
are?
gonna be like Groot though. Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out next year, I believe.
Supposed to be like an actual like entire feature film.
Groot holiday special.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like an actual like feature film.
Huh.
Like, really?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
This is like a whole
Hold
thing
on.
they're doing right now.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta look this up. Is it Groot?
Well, I don't know if it's gonna be Groot or not. I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about that.
I don't know
but
if it's just Groot, but it's definitely
yeah.
a thing. Yeah, the holiday special.
Yeah.
Holiday special.
Wow, Ben, you're kind of behind on the news with this.
No, I'm behind on
You
most
didn't-
news, Mike.
It
You
will
didn't
be
you
an
didn't know about this?
installment in Phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be
So
a
is
big
this
deal.
gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
No.
No,
No,
it's
this
gonna be
is
a
its
holiday
own
special.
This is its own thing.
Oh,
Holiday
okay. And
special.
a prequel to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Okay.
There you go. There
Calm
you
down,
go.
man. Let's calm
Alright.
down a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Let's
All right.
let's back it down a little bit there with the excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They should continue to expand the outer space stuff and doing some more of that
Yeah,
and a Marvel, because I don't know. It seems like that's kind of where the future is, and
the future is now.
you can't just
Oh,
continue to do
space and
Earth
stuff?
stories, because
Yeah.
we've already seen so much outside of Earth's bounds in Marvel, and people are
Mhm.
bored of Earth. People are like,
Yeah.
dude, stop giving me this Earth stuff, man.
Stop! I don't want to look at Earth anymore. Oh my god! Stop with the Earth. Put me on Ceres. I want to see Ceres
Yeah.
and Mars.
Give me Ceres, then Mars, and maybe Jupiter.
I want space
Yeah.
mirrors.
Space
Block
mirrors.
all
Oh
the
my God,
asteroids.
Space mirrors. Space mirrors are my jam. Yeah, I don't. Who even frickin' knows anymore with this stuff? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Marvel is crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're tripping balls a little bit right now.
I don't know. I'm kind of liking where they're going. I mean, I'm interested to see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I like the multiverse angle they're going
What's that?
for.
that is
I don't know what that
definitely the
is.
one that's the most exciting to me and the most
I haven't-
interesting, just
I haven't heard of that.
because like I'm just hoping that it's like super weird and crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
And creepy. Apparently, it's supposed to be creepy too.
I haven't
Well,
heard of that. I don't know
yeah.
what that is.
We'll see if Marvel actually goes down the creepy route or not. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I don't think that they're gonna really be like super creepy or anything with it,
It'd
unfortunately.
be cool if they did.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome if they
Yeah, it
did,
would be
like
great.
super like horror vibes and stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
Sam Raimi's
um,
actually like a legit, like good horror director. So
Yeah.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
feel like bringing him in is it's
Yeah.
a good step. Good step
Yeah.
forward.
But Marvel's pretty mild when it comes to that type of stuff, and
Right.
we'll see if they actually go down that route. I hope they do, but we'll see. But there's the possibility of like Tobey Maguire coming back for it, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's also a possibility. I think he's coming back potentially for Spider-Man 3 as well.
mhm.
That's another one I'm excited about. Is Spider-Man 3.
Speaking of which, Spider-Man 3. There was an interview somebody listened to recently with Zendaya where she was talking about how much she liked, how much she enjoyed Alfred Molina as like an
Yeah.
actor, and
Yep.
they've never done any movies together
Mhm.
that
Oh.
everybody knows about. So there's
Yeah.
rumors that potentially she's worked with him in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they're doing a multiverse angle, then
I'm gonna
it
be
makes
honest.
sense.
At this point, I feel like if they didn't do a multiverse angle, like everybody would just be pissed at them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of just shutting down the rumors and being like, guys, no, it's not a thing, please stop. They're
Right.
just like, yeah, let's just keep that going.
Yeah. They keep teasing it and stuff.
yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep that angle going, and everybody will love us. And then they're like, I really wish you would have just told us that wasn't the case, so we could have not got hyped for it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. At this point, if that's not the case, then people are gonna be not happy
Oh,
at
yeah.
all. So
I think it will be
I
the
would
case.
I totally want to bail on it at that point. I'd be like, oh, okay.
yeah.
I think it'll be the case. I don't think
Yeah.
they're gonna not do that.
Yeah.
It's too good of a concept and too good of an idea, and it's been done in Spider-Man before, so like, why not?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
When did that happen?
And
Done.
what?
When did they do that in Spider-Man before?
In the comic books,
They did what in the comic books?
messed around with other dimensions.
Gotcha. I mean, if you say so.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with all of that. Yeah.
It's definitely news for that, but nobody really knows what's going on with Phase 4 except for WandaVision, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
even that's been Third episode happened. New episode tomorrow.
Today.
Actually. It actually got a little bit more interesting. They ended the last episode with some interesting stuff, and I was like, okay, I kind of see where they might be going with this. So it'll be interesting to see.
I really like where they're going.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That's for sure. There's a lot more indication that Wanda's like way more in control of what's happening than like was previously thought, and there's some like
It's kind of creepy.
yeah, some creepy stuff, to be honest. A little bit of a spoiler, so if you haven't watched it, just skip for the next like 30 seconds so I can talk about this. There's that one point, actually, it was one of my favorite points in it. Vision says something to Wanda, and she like doesn't like what he says, and he like skips, and it looks like the film skips, like the actual like scene accidentally was like badly edited. And but he starts back at the top of like the steps where he was talking and says something completely different when he comes and sits down next to her. Almost like even he's part of like her like manipulation of everything. Like he said something she didn't like, and she was like, I don't like that.
I haven't seen the new episode yet, but I guess it's pretty crazy too, and a lot of people are really liking it. So
yeah, I haven't checked it out. I'll be checking it out after this. I probably should have watched it before, but I didn't have time because I was trying to sleep. And then Ben got us up at an ungodly hour to do this.
I also have not watched it yet because I have been watching it with my wife, so we're gonna watch it together.
Spoiler over.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. Listen, I know we talk about science and space and all this cool stuff. Then we talk about entertainment stuff, but guys, we got to talk about this.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
We got to talk about the stock market.
Oh
What is
gosh,
going on right now? Dude, this is nuts. Apparently AMC is like, hey, we might have got saved out of bankruptcy because of this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
a
dude,
bunch of
because of the
Redditors.
stock?
Yeah, a bunch of Redditors saved,
Yeah,
them from bankruptcy. Not only that,
Predators saving businesses.
and I think that's awesome, man. I think
It
that's
is
really
awesome.
cool. But
it's crazy though to think about the fact that like some of these companies were struggling so hard, and these Redditors joined together. Like these dudes don't even have like a ton of money. These guys aren't millionaires or
no, not at all.
wealthy people. They're just dudes
Average
trying
Joes.
to, just regular people trying to make it work for them. And then we're dealing with all of a sudden now the government's talking about getting involved with Robinhood because they're like, hey, you can't do what you just did. Like, and they're like, well, they were manipulating markets, and they're like, not really. And then apparently one the Secretary of the Treasury, like she has been paid by Citadel Corporation, who gets money from Robinhood.
Yep.
They get money, or Robinhood pays them money to work with them and stuff. Yellen.
Yeah.
So now apparently like when she took office, she signed like some kind of like morality clause or something where basically she's not allowed to interfere or step into things that are conflict of interest. And apparently she kind of like stepped in and said some stuff, and everybody's like, she just violated her morality clause by doing that. Like,
It's wild.
Yeah, and I don't purport to be like some great dude with the stock market because I really don't know a whole lot about it. I've learned a lot the last couple of days reading about it and trying to understand what was going on and understand how it all works. But like, this is kind of nuts,
Exactly.
And it's weird to me that, not to get political for political sake, but like you have somebody like Ben Shapiro who then like tries to educate everybody on the stock market by saying, hey, this is not how the stock market works. The stock market works like this. And the stock market is this, and this. And you can't just walk in here and then just start like blowing up the stock market and stuff. Guys, it's not a casino. I'm like, if it's not a casino, then these people figured out how it works and did it right.
Yeah, right.
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
If it's if the hedge funds are so blatantly doing something, like it's so blatant that they're shorting stocks and everybody knew what was going on, then nobody said it or did anything about it. So they're about to bankrupt a company.
There's a lot of corruption there.
Yeah, like you're about to bankrupt a company, and then a group of average Joes stepped in and like stopped you basically, and then made a bunch of money for themselves.
Dude, there's
and now
so
you
many...
go like, no, that's not okay. Like you can't do that.
There's so many like rich people who are so mad right now.
Yeah,
because of everything going on with the stock market, and I'm just
and somebody brought up a really interesting point too. They're like, what we didn't, nobody punished all of these senators that own stock in major corporations and businesses that sold all their stock because of all the coronavirus briefings before it happened. They had information that the public did not have, and then sold all their stocks because they knew that we were going to hit like a recession and businesses were going to be struggling and stuff. And then we got like everybody else got left in the dust. And some of these people are like, hey, now we're figuring out like, okay, that's how the system works. We'll do it this way, you know? Right. And another point that somebody brought up that I thought was great was like, they didn't shut down the market or stop trades or stop selling when Bitcoin shot through the roof and then tanked 3 years ago, and people lost a ton of money on that. Like, they didn't say anything then. They're like, it's always been, well, that's the stock market and that's how trading works and that's how those, you know, stock market works. And then all of a sudden now somebody goes, well, that's how the stock market works, and they go, yeah, but that's not right. That's manipulation of the stock.
That's not how the stock market
works. That's not how the stock market works. Now they're talking about like restructuring the whole market, and I just like, this is just me kind of on my soapbox about it, but it's just crazy to me to see something like this happen, because up until now, you know, Reddit and, you know, 4chan and all of these like internet people that have been doing and making like serious moves and other things, like as a joke, like stepped into the arena with somebody and actually like punched somebody in the mouth, like, and nobody expected it.
Now
like,
they don't know what to do.
Now they don't know what to do, because how do you stop Reddit? Like, you can't, unless you start putting pressure on Reddit to stop, which you know, I think we're kind of witnessing like a paradigm shift in the like social arena, because like it sounds like a silly thing, but you know, what was it, 5 years ago or whatever, 4 or 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when Shia LaBeouf was doing his crazy like "He Shall Not Divide Us" thing, and like the dude went out in the cabin, had a flag hanging out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere with no context clues for anything, and a bunch of Redditors and 4chan people looked at the like way that the sun was moving in the sky and triangulated exactly where this cabin was and found it. You know, and then there was, what was it, a few years ago, there was like a group on Reddit that started like assisting like government entities in finding people, because they'd look at a picture of them, or they'd find like, you know, they'd scour through pictures on the internet, and they found like missing people like on the internet. Like within a matter of like hours or a matter of like hours.
The Reddit community is crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's a bunch of regular people.
Exactly.
It's not like these are a bunch of like super powerful entities that are like stepping into stuff. And so I feel like, you know, it was funny because they were like, Reddit attacks a hedge fund. Reddit comes in and attacks the stock market. I'm like, this wasn't a calculated attack on somebody. No. This was somebody going, hey, like these guys are obviously doing something that's kind of shady, and we could profit off of this, so we should go for it. And they did.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not like 1 or 2 people that did this. It's like, you know, thousands of people that work together to do something like this. When was the last time we see anything like that?
Yeah, exactly.
There was some guy on the news yesterday. I watched like a little blip of an interview. It was some hedge fund billionaire guy who was complaining about, these are all basement dwellers who are getting checks from the government and all this other stuff, and they're stealing our money from us. And I was just like, what on earth? Like, that's just, that's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, they don't want the little guy to benefit at all.
No. It's crazy to me.
When they start to realize that the system is like rigged against them and stuff, and it's all basically the illusion is breaking right now with everything going on, that the suits are the ones that are in control of all the money, and you can't profit at all. And stuff.
And I mean, it's because of the working class people that they have all the money in the first place too. A lot of the time, and a lot of that is partially because of people like us. We're just trying to get into the stock trade, and now they're like, oh no, they're stealing our money, and crazy.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they only want it to be a free market when the free market works in their favor. Right. And when the free market starts to not work in their favor, then they start to get pissy and they want the government to step in and
Yeah.
everything
Right.
else.
Well, and now, and what's great is, and the thing is like that nobody's talking about is like the one hedge fund that like lost the most money on all of this got bailed out by two of its investor companies, Citadel and Project 72 or whatever.
Mhm.
They infused $3 billion into this company. $3 billion. They were like, oh, hey,
Jeez.
well, now that they've shored up the market, here's $3 billion to make sure you don't go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Like, so even
That's
with
insane.
that, they're still around, they're still fine, and they still got an infusion of money from some guy, an insane amount of money from a company, a group of people, to make sure that they're still around tomorrow. And so, or today. So
Mhm.
today they're still around. They're going to be trading stocks. They're going to be shorting stuff. And now they know if it gets bad enough, or somebody tries this again, that they can just go whine and moan to the government, or they can go whine and moan to other companies, and then they'll be blocked. It'll stop. It'll
Yeah.
be. It's no different than what happened with like Martin Schreckle or whatever, the one guy who, made all that money and then was like trying to troll the internet, with like, yeah, I bought all this insulin and I'm gonna like jack the price up because what are you gonna do about it? You need it. Or he like, I don't know if you guys remember that guy or not, but he also like bought like a Wu-Tang Clan album. It's like the only one ever made. They made like an album and he bought it and then like destroyed it or something because he thought it was funny, like to do that to like people that like really wanted it and stuff.
Jeez.
And the stuff. And now he's in jail because
Oh my
like he was
gosh.
super corrupt and everything, and then exposed that he was like lying about a bunch of stuff and but like that's the thing, like these wealthy people think that they're untouchable, and we showed that like what, your money isn't beyond touching. And the thing
Mhm.
is, it wasn't just, oh, you mess with my money, how unfair of you. It's that I have $13 billion and that's not enough for me, so I'm going to try to figure out how to get more money, and then when somebody shows up and screws up my money, I'm going to screw up their money, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
And now,
Exactly.
normal people are all of a sudden criminals for
Yeah,
wanting to like get into the stock market.
yeah. And
Nowadays.
all of a sudden it's us versus them, which is like a really
Yeah.
crappy like feeling, for a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the way it's been for a while, but they continue to make it be about like other issues that really aren't as big as this issue
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And people are starting to wake up and realize that a little bit, which is good.
Yeah. Well, it's
yeah.
just, yeah, it's something when you see, I mean, once again, not to get like super political, but I mean, it's something we've seen throughout, like when a group of people actually unite on something, even if it's not the right cause, like the government gets real shaky when all of a sudden a group of people start
Yeah.
acting a certain way.
Exactly.
And then you automatically see that, you'll see like, then all of a sudden like money starts flowing into these corporations or these activist companies and things like that, and all of a sudden they change.
Mhm.
It's no different than like going back to there was like a whole documentary I watched on like Border Patrol, and there was this guy that was like going into like these places like in Texas, like in like in Mexico and stuff, that were getting attacked by cartels, and they were like battling the cartels like down south. And not even, it wasn't even about illegal aliens, it was about the cartels and like the kind of stuff that they do down there. Because I have friends who like their parents were migrants and stuff like that talked about how dangerous it could be down there with the cartels, and some cities and stuff were completely overrun by the cartels and stuff. And I know friends and guys that I went to school with when they were younger that are dead now because they joined these cartels and they joined these gangs down south and ended up dead. And
right.
there was this guy that was like basically battling the cartels. He had like a whole group of like kind of vigilantes or whatever. And then what ended up happening is the government stepped in and offered him a bunch of money to help. And they were like, no, I don't want that. And then that guy all of a sudden mysteriously dies. And this other guy steps up and takes over. And then all of a sudden he's working with the government. And now then they end up finding out he's like running drugs, and he's, like super corrupt and stuff. And it's like, as soon as these big entities get involved, because they obviously have a stake in what's happening, they throw a bunch of money at the person that they, the people they believe they can corrupt, and then they completely destroy the foundations of like what was supposed to be a bunch of people getting together to help. And it's unfortunate because I can't not see Reddit stepping into this or affecting their users, or I mean, we've already seen that they can just shut down a whole section of their website and just be like, nope, it's a problem,
Yep.
and now,
Yep.
Robinhood sitting here doing what they did. And you want to hope that a bunch of people are going to drop Robinhood and forget about them.
A bunch of people have already.
Yeah, but they're probably going to get bailed out by their parent company.
People are suing them.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the ridiculous thing about this is that, I don't know, like, it really does feel like everything is like stacked up against the people. And part of the problem is that we've, I guess, kind of let this happen in some ways as well. But at the same time, like, we also, I don't know, it's just crazy. It feels like everything wants to continue to just put a boot on our neck and stuff and do it to their own benefit. And it's whenever we start to realize that, then they start to freak out and they don't like that at all.
Well, one of my favorite things about all of this is that then we also have the richest man in the world now.
Yeah.
Basically being like, good on you guys for doing that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's how you're supposed to do it. And like supporting that. And then of course the internet and like media, mostly the media, like decries the guy and calls out Elon Musk like he did something wrong. When he's like, no, like he's like, I hate that stuff, because he's been targeted by that stuff, and they've been, they try to target his businesses all the time. Like, how many times, like, he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast and smokes some weed, and his stock tanks because they're like, oh, he smoked weed on Joe Rogan's podcast, let's tank his stock, like sell. I'm like, why?
People were so butthurt about that. For some reason.
But like, why do you sell your stock? Why does the stock drop because of that? Now, it's one thing if he's like, hey, I'm building a rocket to go to Mars, and the rocket blows up, and they're like, oh, stock drops.
That's different, right?
Yeah, that's different. You invest it, or whatever. But the guy is like obviously one of the richest men in the world, and did that, and isn't doing that by manipulate. Like, he's not Amazon. He's not selling people stuff. Like, he's doing it by innovating and selling products that work and products that people want and people like and stuff. And whether it's necessary or not, whatever. But the guy's like obviously an innovator, and here he is sitting here like extolling the people for what they've done. I mean, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me too, because you think about how accessible he is compared to like other people. Like, when was the last time you saw like Jeff Bezos on like a podcast?
Exactly.
When was the last time you saw when was the last time you saw Bill Gates on Meme Review? Like, I mean, that's what I love so much about Elon Musk, is that he's the richest guy on the planet. Yet he acts in a lot of ways just like your average Joe in a lot of ways. He acts like so down to earth, and he actually like tries to do things to like help people. Like, he gets involved with internet memes and stuff, and he's like, and he's enjoying his life.
And he's he sees a lot of the, I mean, he's pointed this out multiple times in the past on his Twitter page or whatever, about like a lot of like things with the BS that is going on in the country, with a lot of the establishments and the institutions and stuff that are basically I guess hurting the livelihoods of people and stuff. And he doesn't like that, and he, at the same time, he's also created things like Tesla, which opens up, tens of thousands of jobs for people and stuff like that. And that's a really cool thing too. And I don't know, like, he just seems like he actually like,
gives a crap.
He gives a crap about the little guy in a lot of ways and stuff.
And I think Elon Musk, I mean, has in some ways done a lot more for
just environmental research than a lot of other people have too. And obviously he has, like, made significant strides to trying to figure out where humanity will go next, and like what we can do to preserve our livelihoods, preserve, people in general. So I think that's always cool too.
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah. And that's a big deal. I'm agreeing with Ben on this.
SpaceX, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
Guys,
exactly.
This is unprecedented. Elon Musk brings Mike and Ben together.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's the real deal.
Yeah.
Me and Ben we're locking pages on this, Me and Ben are crossing swords.
No, don't do that.
I mean,
no, we're crossing swords, man. This is the thing.
All right, and with that being said,
Ben, you don't get to end the podcast.
I might want to at this. I might want to end everything.
When we start talking about crossing swords, bro, that's okay, man.
That's just the beginning right there.
Yeah.
That's
Elon Musk, you make me and Ben cross swords.
We'll just tweet him this after the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, Elon, take a listen.
That's our goal. We want to get Elon Musk on the podcast so we can talk to him about me and Ben crossing swords.
Dude,
And then Josiah just sits there in abject terror. Like, how did we get this guy on here? And then why are they talking about crossing swords?
Mike and I would be the guys to just be goofing around the entire time if we had Elon Musk on here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think this is a very serious matter.
Crossing swords is a serious matter, Ben.
Elon,
In the presence of Elon Musk.
Yeah, you bring me and Ben together, and we cross swords with each other because of you.
Till the day we die.
No.
Till the day we die.
Till the day we die.
Me and Ben are getting married because we're cross swords.
Oh,
Life partners.
Oh,
Elon
man.
Musk brings everybody together.
Elon, if you're listening, join the podcast.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be...
Who doesn't?
Dude.
Tweet it out to him. Legit.
Let's start tweeting at him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really use my Twitter. I haven't used it since like 2008, but we can straight up
Every day. Let's tweet Elon
join
Musk.
our podcast.
We will get him on here.
Yeah. You could be like, who the frick are these guys? Oh man. I don't know.
Yeah, so the whole Robinhood thing is just crazy.
What a
The
mess.
stock market stuff is absolutely crazy, but I love anything that makes the elites in their ivory towers mad. It just makes me so happy, and that's what's happening right now, and I absolutely love it. I love it so much. And I was actually talking about this with one of my friends yesterday, but it would be a different matter if if all of the elites and all of the suits on Wall Street and stuff, if they were getting basically screwed over by like the government. Like, I wouldn't like that because I don't like it when the government gets involved really in anything like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you have like a free market situation where the average person is just kind of like uniting to like basically make themselves money and also help some of these businesses like AMC and GameStop, which probably would have like tanked and gone out of business if they didn't.
Yep.
Then and at the same time also like screwing over like the suits on Wall Street a little bit. Like I love that. I absolutely love that so much.
Yeah. I do too.
That's the distinction there. Like, I love it when the free market works in the favor of the people, and I'm not a fan when the government tries to force changes in the free market and stuff.
No.
And, yeah, go ahead.
Well, like I said, just as like that my last little thing, but yeah, I agree. Like, had the government like stepped in and like stopped all these hedge fund guys, I'd be like, you know what, that's not your business, like stay out of it, blah blah blah. But like, we also know that they've bailed out these guys when they've been in trouble before.
Yeah.
We've seen governments bail out major corporations that like didn't handle their finances correctly and are like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go bankrupt, we're gonna screw up the whole infrastructure of everything if we go down. What do we do? The government's like, we'll give you money, we'll give you taxpayer money that we didn't authorize, like we weren't authorized to just give you to help you out. But like, then people are losing money or people are struggling and the government goes like, well, sorry, like there's too much red tape for us to do anything to help you,
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, like Wall Street and the government have always been like very intimately tied and stuff in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like even with like they spent over $74 million to back Joe Biden and stuff, which is just absolutely just like insane.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. That's crazy. So yeah, like it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But yeah, and like I've seen so many people pointing this out already, but the irony of Robinhood and the name of that app and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just so funny to me. And I don't know, like I don't understand how they're not self-aware about that, but that's
I've seen some pretty good memes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. What keeps happening.
So yeah, that's going to probably wrap it up for this week. We'll definitely talk about something more interesting in the series next week and stuff, but but hey, Ben wanted to bring it up and we brought it up. So
also, I'm just going to point out, Ben got through the whole episode and didn't mention his sloth.
Dude, what the heck, Ben? Are you?
If he
feeling
mentions
okay?
it now, it doesn't count because I brought it up. But
Yeah,
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I
Wow,
forgot about my
Ben
mega
missed
Ethereum.
out.
man.
We were talking about
Ben's slipping here. Ben's slipping here.
I'm slipping, losing grasp of reality.
I guess so, man. You really fell off, man. Wow. How are we gonna get Elon Musk on here? You can't even remember the sloth.
I'll get him on because of the sloth.
Just start tweeting him giant sloth pictures or something.
Dude, he's just gonna take us on an expedition to Peru to try to find the giant sloth.
I mean, Elon Musk can take me on an expedition to anything. I'll be down. I'll be down.
All
Okay.
right.
If he
Wow.
wants to cross swords with you.
Well, I mean, if there's money involved, you know, maybe who knows?
$20 is $20, baby. Oh jeez, we gotta stop before it gets worse.
So with
Just
that
keep
being
going.
said, on that note, we will talk to you all next week. We hope you have a great week. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, all of that good stuff. We appreciate it a lot. Pray for Ben, and we will talk to you all next week. Bye.